Okay, so Danica's coming on our show soon. So we have our first guest booked. And now I actually, anytime I talk to anyone, I am evaluating.
Yeah. I talked to my physiotherapist the other day. I was like,
And your physiotherapist might know about the guilt we carry in our body.
Yeah. Well, she took some out of mine for sure, because I was like,
why are you going to physio? Sorry, this is not a podcast. I'm glad you're very...
Oh, no, I don't mind. I can talk about it. I'm going to physio because when I was 11, I fell down some stairs at a friend's house and like jarred my spine and got winded, as you do when you're a child. But it started off at the time, a little bit of scoliosis and a lot of like other like kind of scar tissue pain things in my neck and shoulders. But my mom has basically the exact same type of injury from car accidents. So part of this is actually just inherited shit, which is great.
Most of what we have is
just
what you get.
Thank you for that. And I'm sure I shall feel guilty for passing it on to the next generation. Although so far, touch wood,
my gosh, this is our subject.
Yeah.
Organically.
You inherit all that shit. It enters your DNA.
Let's talk about this physio. So
yeah, anyway, injuring myself at 11 started me down this whole path of and because my mom had injuries from accidents, she was going to all these treatments and trying all these things.
Yep.
So she took me along. So, I mean, I've literally had everything from physio, chiropractic, massage therapy, acupuncture, reflexology, and a healer in southwestern Saskatchewan. I went to an Indigenous healer.
Oh.
Yeah, really cool. When I was like 12.
My dad and your mother are very different people. However, my dad took me to a healer who was, I do not think, Indigenous. I remember a trailer. I was maybe 10, and it's because my hips were strange. And so I thought it was really cool that the neighborhood kids would be like, Kristen, run. Go run a little bit. And I would run and they would all laugh because my legs kicked out.
I'm sad, but I also wish I have a video. That makes me feel guilty to say.
And my dad dug up some person, and all I really recall, because I think he went back to her like a couple times over the years, was that Prince Charles, she claimed to have treated Prince Charles.
Cool.
Whether or not that's true, we will never know. But I didn't like her. And I remember her saying she would never work on someone who had had surgery because surgery disrupted the body systems. So she was pleased that I had never had surgery. And then she yanked on my legs. And I probably fixed it because I no longer ran like that. But I did not enjoy that. My dad took me to many healers. I went to someone who looks into your eyes and diagnoses everything that's wrong with you by looking at your eyes.
Iridology.
Yeah. And then gave me horrific horse pills, like a pile of 6 capsules would be on the table, and I would have to drink it with orange juice, and I would cry and gag, and tea that tasted like I was drinking dirt mixed with weeds.
I've had that from the Chinese medicine doctor, but I think it did help. I don't know if yours was legit.
Was ridiculous. And she told me I had dirty skin when she looked into my eyes, and I was like, fuck you.
Cool.
Whatever 10-year-old version of fuck you passed through my mind.
When you saw these people, because was this pre-cult or?
This was like same time-ish cult. So
he was exploring options.
He was an explorer. And this fits somewhat with the cult because they just reject everything worldly, right?
Yeah.
So they certainly partake in medicine and they don't have any problems with that. There's no issues there. But there's probably a spectrum of, alternative adjacent to mainstream healing that they were maybe a little bit more inclined to accept because it wasn't of the world.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was an explorer of ideas, and it always breaks my heart. And there's probably some guilt, right, around not being able to help him harness that for good.
Yeah. I feel like he could have. I feel like had he met the right person at the right time instead of the person he did meet.
I know.
He could be such a cool, spiritual guru type guy.
Yeah, because he had this streak of brilliance, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm old enough and there's enough space and distance that I can see that in some things he was like prescient, like he saw things that, kind of shifts in the world. Like he had that ability, but he never was able to kind of harness that and take it in a positive way. Like it's one thing to say, oh, this could happen if this keeps happening.
Yeah.
But it was more like, and the world will end and you will go to hell.
The guy holding up the sign like the world ends tomorrow.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's interesting because
Interesting.
your mom around the same age, and it
Yeah.
must have been kind of like the zeitgeist, right?
Yeah.
The people who were feeling like just going to the doctor and taking the pill or having the surgery, that wasn't enough. And so your mom was willing to explore all these kind of alternative
Yeah.
therapies because she was maybe a bit of an adventurer there.
Yeah, she was. But she was more of the like, and she wasn't a hippie, which was interesting because you'd think, oh, she sounds like a hippie, but she wasn't, weirdly. But it was just like she was into like natural things and like believed that, you could heal yourself naturally in a lot of cases.
That's really, this is like super interesting because that would have been pushing against the grain of, because you had up until whatever point, I don't know, penicillin-ish, right? And then anesthetics. I don't know if the two are the same time period, but relatively the same time period if you think about all of history.
Yeah.
And we could do things that we'd never been able to do before. And then we just kind of like focused really hard on interventions and medicine.
Yeah.
So, and everyone just accepted that and was grateful for it because people weren't dying left and right of, an infection.
Totally.
So it makes sense. But the pushback by just your mom's not a hippie, right? So not living in a culture that just rejects everything.
No.
To say, you know what, I'm going to try something a little different.
Yeah. And she was willing to try all the things, right? It was like, I would do like the traditional things and the physio but then also if that didn't fully work, try something else. Interesting.
I'm glad that you hung on to that, right? And I'm glad I hung on to that. I will never take my children or go to an iridologist, right?
I feel like there was a moment though in the late 80s because a friend of ours in Calgary got into iridology. But just for kind of fun. And it wasn't like a serious thing. And she read our eyes and it was kind of interesting. But I feel like there was like a moment there where like a group of people was like, hey, this is the next thing.
Yeah, this is the ticket.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at it now though, have we changed much? Like watch TikTok and Instagram and all that shit. And like, it's people touting their like, oh, I only eat protein now and I only do this right? And the guilt surrounding that if you don't do it.
Yeah.
It's like back then, I think I felt that was like a guilty secret. Like I didn't want people to know they did these weird things.
Private.
But my mom was fine to talk about it. But like I didn't want people to know that I did those weird things because that was like a weird, guilty secret. Like, oh God, you're the weird kid. I mean, it was already weird because I ate like brown bread and fresh ground peanut butter and like tuna sandwiches, like, healthy shit. I wanted the snack pack, lunch, processed meat and cheese, so badly.
Right? Chef Boyardee, those cans.
Oh my God, what a dream. I mean, I had it later in life and I was like, oh, this is actually gross. I didn't miss anything, but I just wanted it so badly. And so for me, that was like a guilty secret. But now it's like the guilt is no longer from within. Now it's like I watch those reels and it's like, you should be doing this and you should be doing this. And if you're not doing this, your body's falling apart and you're fucked. And it's like, oh my God, you're bombarded from everywhere.
That is 100% true, right? And it's like that, it's just information overload constantly, right? I don't like TikTok because it's funny. I don't have the patience and aren't they really short?
Yeah.
That says something really, I don't know. I should probably feel really guilty about that. But I will like scan all the headlines all the time. And it's generally the 5 ways you can not get Alzheimer's. This community living in Japan or Italy lives to be 105. So if you just do all the same thing, and I feel guilty that, first of all, I'm not doing these things because I feel like I will deserve it when I get cancer, MS, have a stroke, right? I will have brought this on myself because it was all there. It was all available. And you're just too lazy to move to the Mediterranean and live in a mountain and walk everywhere. And then I feel that's a different guilt. That's just you're just not organized, motivated enough. But the guilt I feel that I haven't created a perfect life for my children.
Yep.
That's like overwhelming and almost unbearable.
Constant. Yep. Every day.
I have spent I look towards the cupboard where it all is, insane amount of time, energy, and probably money on trying to find the right vitamins, supplements. Oh my gosh. I remember buying from the naturopath, the little pellet.
Yeah, the homeopathics.
And thank goodness they were cheap.
Yeah.
And my husband would look at me and say, Really? And he never, right? He just let it happen. But feeding Stella little pellets when she was like 3 years old. And then I'm sure that there were pellets I dissolved for my baby.
Yeah, definitely. I did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like the guilt over, like that's not in their RESP funds.
Yeah. Oh God. Nobody over here is retiring anytime soon. So, but thank God we did all the pellets.
We did the pellets, right? But that all stems from, could we back it up to stemming from guilt? That if I don't do this, I could be risking your health. If I don't, that's the thing. Where do you draw the line? And I have people in my life who are able to draw that line and they don't even have to think about it. It just, they do what they can. And I don't think they're even waiting all the time. Like, is this enough? Is this too little of this? And what do I need to adjust? Right. For me, I feel like I have walked since becoming a mother, pretty much. I have walked a constant battle of, if I don't spend every waking minute of every day at least thinking about and then doing something to make my kid's life better, I am a total failure. Okay, speak to that, Amy. Speak to that.
It's true though. As a mother, it's so overwhelming, so ingrained in you, this just constant guilt. I had my kid yesterday, teenage girls, friend issues, and she was all sad. And then they worked it out and it was all fine. But it sat so heavy with me because she's moved on and she's like, oh yeah, no, it's fine now. And I'm like sitting with the I didn't give you the tools to we moved you when you were 8 and you had a best friend, but her best friend moved at the same time to a whole other place. So it wouldn't have mattered had we stayed. But in my mind, I'm like, you had a best friend and then we moved you and now you don't have a best friend and you're always looking for your people. And then I think, oh my God, that was a little bit me. It's still kind of me. I have lots of friends, but I don't have this one that's been a constant all my life. And I have guilt because I'm like, how did I not help her to create that? Did I pass this on, that she's unable to just have a perfect best friend? Just constant guilt.
I recently wrote about friendship and I have a lot of writing about friendship. And you just hit a total nail on the head because
and that's a whole other topic. I mean, my God, the friendship thing.
But with the kids, right? The setting it up. And some of my kids have the best friend. I find they kind of roll more in groups.
Yeah, that's how mine are both.
Cohorts. Hate that word more than
the worst
strategy.
Word ever. It makes me want to puke.
Strategy or cohort. It's always a struggle. But I did not. I had a best friend, but it was circumstantial best friend that you had back in the 70s and early 80s because they lived near, right? So, but it was a fortuitous living near and we liked each other and she was really cool. And I'm glad I had that. And then after that, best friends kind of came and went and sometimes for longer periods. But I wanted that because that's what's I wasn't watching TV, so I can't speak to that, but that was what was in books. Was the best friend, right? You needed the best friend. And sometimes there was a dust up, but then you had to fix the best friend situation or find a new one. And so I've carried that concept of the best friend and not had the best friend. I might have felt at times that someone was my best friend, but it wasn't a reciprocal. That's one of those words I can read, but not say.
Reciprocal.
Thank you. That type of friendship. And the nice thing, I think I'm finally settled in mostly feeling like that's a construct and I don't know where it came from, but that's not, it doesn't even make sense that you would have a best friend forever.
That you would both miraculously grow in the same ways over all those years. I mean, I guess
physically near enough that you can sustain what would constitute a best friendship.
That's called marriage, basically.
Yeah.
And you can't have that many marriages. It's too hard to sustain.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it does a real disservice because I carry that guilt too when my kids have the friendship struggles. And I think, well, I have not been a lived example for you because my friendships have shifted and changed and they see people come and go. And so I think, did I set up the expectation that this is disposable? But I don't think so. I think if you're the same person, I like the idea of having friendships that you don't have to, you grow apart, but you could still connect if you wanted to, right? Totally. Or the memories are really lovely, or maybe you talk on the phone or you see them at a reunion or, right? But if I still had a best friend, I almost feel like it would infer that I was sort of the same person.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't
Stagnant.
want to be the same person.
No, same. No, and I know she has, not that she's tried to guilt me, but a little bit kind of like, oh, why didn't I ever have a best friend? And it's like, not that she's putting it on me, but I feel that it's my fault.
Oh yeah. You hear those words and it's like, well, what? Because of me, obviously.
Yeah, clearly.
Let me count the ways.
Yeah, here, let me just dig the knife a little deeper for you. I think though too, I'm always like, yeah, but I try to help her out, which is probably not what you're supposed to do by like relating it to you. But I'm like, well, I went through my life with various best friends at different stages. And sometimes it was like, oh, this best friend moved away.
Yeah.
You know,
like
I was
a
in
logistical problem.
Totally. I was in a trio of besties in elementary school and we kind of went back and forth. So that was a tricky dynamic. By high school, I thought I had one group of friends, but it didn't work out. And I remember that feeling.
I had those. Hey, what?
Yeah. Like, oh, so we're not. Oh, okay, cool. And I, yesterday when she was having this kind of day, I like went back to that 16-year-old me feeling like rejected and sad. And
the rawness of that.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt so sad about it. And I was just like, you don't have to fix this, but you do have to say sorry for your part of it. I was like, you have to accept that like you created a little bit of this drama and she's always been a kid that cannot say sorry. Like literally, like 2-year-old her slap her brother. You need to say sorry. Yeah. Nope. Like,
it's funny so because there are people who just can't. I struggle.
I'm like, I need to get you some type of hypnotherapy or something to make you be able to say it. Like it truly is I'm like, you're going to fuck up relationships in your life if you can't learn how to say sorry.
Well, like just get her, schedule a call with me because I struggle to say sorry.
It's insane. I'm actually like, holy shit.
I can't even fake say it. Like, I'm like, just say the word and don't mean
She does it and she'll go, sorry.
Sorry.
And I'm like, no, you just made me more mad because you're not fucking sorry. Anyway, so I was like, you need to say sorry for your portion of it. I totally understand what happened. Like, this wasn't nice, whatever. I was like, but that's to be a friend. There's what people do. And you have to sometimes just suck it up a little bit. But then also say to that friend, hey, it hurt me when you did this and this. And I don't like it when you do this. It makes me feel this way. Yeah. And she did that. And then she felt all better about it. But I was still holding on to the like, because at that age, I did not confront people. I did not speak to people about stuff. I just internalized the hurt and was like, hoped they would feel guilty about hurting me and come back. And like, that's not healthy. That's not what gets friends back.
And generally people aren't thinking about how you're feeling.
Right. No, they didn't give a shit in the first place. Obviously, they moved on. Yeah. So anyway, there was a lot of guilt there. Stirred up some things for me, but then I kind of thought about my friendships and I was like, you know what? Over the years, they've come and gone in moments that I've needed like specific things, whether it's as a new mom or in university or whatever it is. Right. And you kind of cycle through people. But I do look back and I have a constant of people all through my life from elementary school, high school, university, mom's groups. There's at least one person, if not more, in all of those timeframes that I still connect with. Oh. Not regularly necessarily, but it's like the people where you can just pick back up and there's no guilt attached, right? And maybe that's the beauty of it. It's like you and me. We connected when we were young moms and then we kind of drifted, but like we've always checked in.
Let's be clear here, actually. Someone moved was what happened and it wasn't me.
Oh yeah, I feel guilty about it, but I don't. So sorry.
No, and I'm happy for you. But I have been, when you moved and I had another friend move.
Yeah, you right had around a lot of people move.
Like it tore me apart because I wasn't ready. Like to me, those friendships were still so central and important. Yeah. Like they hadn't run their course in my mind. And so when you all moved and there was a significant amount of you, I really, like I was a little heartbroken, but then that's life. Right. Know. And so it's the going through. I didn't enjoy it, but.
And we kind of left you with the dregs. Sorry.
Kind of, but I forgive you. And now I don't forgive you because you didn't do anything that needed forgiving. So I take that back. But like, this is one of those things where I'm so glad. And I always probably felt like I could just call you up, or if I went through where you live, I could just see you. Right. So it wasn't a friendship that just ended because
It never ended. It just
I said
paused.
something stupid, which those are the ones that
Yeah.
I carry in my little wagon that I talk about when I teach interpersonal communications, which when you were talking about your daughter and like the conversations and thinking back, I had no idea how to talk to people or explain what I was feeling. I can't even imagine how I did that, either by talking behind their back, probably, or
Totally
being snarky, sarcastic was how I would have indicated that I was unhappy. But when I teach interpersonal comms, I think I say to the students and I say to anyone who will listen, this should be like from kindergarten through. And then as human beings, we should be required to work on this and here's another word I don't know how to say, perpetuity.
In perpetuity, yes.
Look at this could also be like a linguistics class.
I love it.
Thank you. Cadaver.
Mm-hmm. Words that you read and mispronounced in your mind for years.
Yeah. Quesadilla or quesadilla? I'm kidding.
Jalapeno.
Oh, jalapeno. I do like jalapeno.
I have never, obviously, I don't mispronounce languages.
I know you don't.
Let's be clear.
That's why this is a little
but
bit
I love
stressful.
when people do. It gives me like a lot of amusement and great joy. When I did literally hear a woman once say, oh, I really like jalapenos. And I was like, oh, you're not just, because like sometimes Jason and I will make a joke, like mispronounce things on purpose, right? Yes. Like quesadilla. And I was like, oh, okay.
Amy, my mother says quesadillas.
I love it.
She's been corrected.
I was like, I'm assuming you've corrected her because it's you.
Oh, Amy. Yeah.
With no
Can you
guilt.
imagine a world where I held my tongue?
Why don't I feel guilty correcting people?
Oh,
I love it. I love correcting people.
Yeah.
I've gotten better though.
We could also think about the things we don't feel guilty about.
Yeah, that's one. Although I have tempered that a little bit over the years, I've realized people don't
appreciate it as much as I would think they would like to know that
that they're wrong. I seen. Wouldn't you like me to say? Wouldn't you like me to give you a little quick lesson so that you don't sound like an ignoramus?
But I feel like that's one of the ones. Jalapeno, right? That's just,
you can let that go. It's a whole other language. That's
that
fair.
I've seen says to me, you have zero interest in language.
Yeah. It's shocking to me, actually.
And I'm going to tell you something else, though. My mom, maybe it's a farmer thing because she is more well-read than I will ever be. So intelligent, like she's brilliant and from a very intelligent, intellectual family who were also farmers. But she will say, I seen, and it actually makes my teeth hurt.
Oh, that's jarring.
It's jarring.
Do you think she just does it to like dumb herself down?
No, she would. No, it's just, I'm trying to think, I'll pay more attention because it's not a regular thing.
No.
I think it's just, and here, this is not the place for this linguistics conversation, but I do love a good chat about language and evolution of it. Language does change, right? And the only reason it's changing a little less is, from what I understand, like this person has posed this, it could be wrong, but is because we have written language, right? Which makes a record of it. So then we say, no, this is right. And it will therefore always be like this, right? But it probably in 1,000 years, it will be I seen.
I hope not.
Well, we don't take care of ourselves enough. So we will be, early or long dead because clearly I'm not doing the top 5 ways to not have a stroke.
Yeah.
It feels like the world, because there is so much information available, that it feels like the guilt stems from the fact that if you really wanted to fix this or that, health, child, whatever, that it's available.
Yeah, you could do it.
So anytime that I'm not putting effort, funds, time, into fixing, it means I'm making a decision not to, is what I feel like. That's how I've set the equation up in my mind. And so then that's like automatic guilt.
Oh, yeah. No, and you're not wrong because...
Oh, I love when people say you're not wrong. That's a great phrase. Say it again. No one ever says it to me.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You may even be right.
Wow.
I know.
I feel like I just got a gold star from you.
You did. Gold star from Amy.
Talk to me more about how I'm not wrong.
It is a thing. It's like I struggle with this daily because I am a person who does not love organized exercise. And I have never been a gym person. I'm not a runner. I've tried so many things over the years. When I was young, I was a dancer. I loved to dance. But when I stopped dancing at 15, I will never be as good as I was then.
Oh.
So I would never dance again. I tried once when I was 20 and I couldn't believe how shit I was. And I was like,
That's it.
never again. That's it. We're done here.
Can you?
So I don't
I
like
want to know what
exercise.
kind of, I need to like to understand what kind of dance.
Oh, I was a ballerina. Come on, you can picture it.
Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately, I'm not good at the other dance forms.
Okay. Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Because Amy, I'm older than you. So I'm a slightly wiser just by virtue of age.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the gym. Like I actually hate it more than I hate many, many things that I should hate more. I don't like having to be somewhere at a certain time. I really struggle with that. I hate the amount of time that it takes to go to the place also, right? Counts to me as part of the time. So it just like an awful
sucks your day. Yep.
I don't mind yoga, but ever since COVID, like a class for yoga, because I don't know, I like that. It feels sort of spa-like, but also I'm exercising. But ever since COVID, the studio that I used to go to, there's literally like one person there and everybody else is on Zoom. And that that's not very fun. So I could do yoga at home. People do that, but I don't. And I feel I felt very guilty, right? We even have a room with like a mat and like stuff, and it's very nice. And I tried to make it nice so that I would go in there, but I don't. I just go in there to hang laundry that needs to be hung to dry. But what I've been doing, and I say this because you said you like to dance, is I got my husband to give me for my birthday really good speakers because I love turning music up loud, and I don't like most speakers kind of suck.
Yeah.
Right? You turn it up and everything sounds like shit. And so they weren't crazy expensive, but they're like very decent. That's how I would describe them. That's a great marketing line.
Very decent.
Very decent.
Very decent. With that, 5 stars. Very decent.
And I made my music playlist of just incredibly random songs that I love. And I dance in my living room when no one is home. And I turn it up as loud as I want. And I just dance like a fool. And I feel like that counts as exercise.
It 100% does. That's
and
great.
Sometimes I do like squats or that, right? It's not
as part of the dance.
Dancing, right? But like I'm like, oh, my shoulders are sore. I'm gonna like do some downward dogs
as part of the dance routine. You know what? I think there's a market there. I'm just gonna install hidden cameras in your home, and we're gonna stream that, and like that'll be it. I'm gonna go viral on TikTok and everywhere else.
Something would happen. I would have to move it. Like it's awful. It's really awful, but I absolutely love it. I do shut the shutters just in case someone was able to somehow look into my living room.
Definitely.
See, because I would actually die because it's like with wild abandon.
Here's the thing. I'm not a very good, I was a good ballerina, but I'm not a very good like loose dancer. My husband's a really good dancer.
People tell me you probably
are though. Oh, well.
Yeah.
My husband's really good and my daughter's really good. And they make fun of me when I dance.
Well,
my husband not
you're
so
dancing
much,
like a ballerina.
It will probably because I'm too tight. I can't, but my daughter will be like, what is that? And nothing can shut you down like a bitchy teenager. The judgment.
Do they even know how to dance? Like dance to like, not ballet.
Oh, mine does. She's like good at all the dance forms. Yeah.
I put all my girls in dance because I wanted to go to recitals, and gradually they all rejected dance for sport. And it broke my heart because I would go to those recitals and I would cry.
Oh, I cry
with emotion.
Baby.
Yeah. And I'm going to be the little old lady who goes to other people's kids' dance recitals.
You can come see Juliette. Like, she's such a beautiful dancer. And I sob every time. I'm like, how did I make you so beautiful? And I also give myself the credit, right? Like, I'm not just.
Of course. You may have given her like a neck problems. But
she doesn't have them. It's a miracle. So I don't know if we broke the cycle. But like she legit, and she hates to be massaged. Who hates to be massaged? My kid does not really love to be touched, which is weird because we're a very touch-heavy family. But yeah, she hates to be massaged. Like if I accidentally do it thinking I'm doing a nice thing.
Like that thing you do. Yeah.
It's like, stop it. I hate that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
As a baby, like was she the kind of baby that like did not want to cuddle all the time?
Oh no, she always wanted to cuddle. And as a toddler, she to this day, she'll kill me for saying this, but like she would hold my hand for years. And to this day, when we go shopping, she'll link arms with me in the mall every time.
I always say to my girls, can we link arms and pretend that we're like, because I love that. I love that. And they refuse. They don't like it.
No, she like,
Actually, Sophie will do it like for a second.
yeah, no, I never initiate it. She always does. And I'm like,
that's interesting.
but it's
But
literally
no
the
massage.
only, no massage, doesn't love to be hugged. But as a child, loved to be, we hugged all the time.
Maybe this is like if this is what you like, I'm going to not like it for a while.
I feel maybe there's a lot of
Yeah.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like she physically rejects it. I'm not sure. But it's interesting.
So Charlie, like the youngest, she loves massages, but because she inherited my loosey goosey limbs, like my ligaments don't work properly,
Yeah.
and so they're very stretchy.
Amazing.
And luckily, she is stronger than I ever was, so they stay in place better. But sometimes she'll right, and then it pulls the muscles and you get sore. So she's constantly the guilt right now is rearing up a little bit because she requested that I book her a massage about 3 weeks ago. And I keep saying, of course I will. I'll do that tomorrow. And I still haven't. Yeah. But she loves massages and wants me to massage her all the time. But if you want to hug Charlie, she actually turns and presents you with her back.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, go
You can
ahead.
spoon
You
me
can
from
hug
behind.
me if you need this, but I'm not participating.
Interesting.
And I feel guilty about that because I think, are you cold to me in this way? Because, right, I don't think she dislikes hugging people. I think it's like, it's a signal of something. And I interpret it as I had you, then I had postpartum depression. And so now you are paying me back for the first 3 years of your life.
I don't think that that's what it is. I think you can probably set that aside.
She's just being an asshole.
She's a teenager. So, yeah, they're just kind of dicks for a while. And, it's okay.
It's true.
Yeah.
And then you feel covered a lot of like really important topics. I feel like this is going to be, I want you to sign a contract that we will be friends forever and talk about these things forever. And now I've just made this uncomfortable because you're like, no, we just established that friendships ebb and flow, Kristen. See, this is my desperation that says, no, we have to talk about these things because I think it's so important. All of this stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a lot of things that seem so small, but they build up and
they connect to other things, right? Like, look at our conversation. I'm like, okay, no, focus, stay on, right? We're talking about Amy's neck and physio and her mother and right. And then, but they connect and that might be like,
all the little guilt strands connect.
Yeah. I think that's maybe the key. Like maybe we're unwinding like a ball of string, but there's never ever, it's like a ball.
There's no end to it.
Going.
Yeah.
And it helps me. I don't know. I feel like I feel better after we talk about this, even though we're touching on stuff that like is hard. I feel like giving it like a little bit of room.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's good. I like it.
It's cathartic.
Cathartic. Good job. Good job. Way to pronounce that word.
Thank you.
Nailed it. I still feel guilty because when you go to physio, you're supposed to do the exercises.
Oh, right. Yeah.
This is the whole thing. I love because my physio actually does manipulate me and like she dug into my armpit and like
that's not a massage. That's like a gross.
It was agony. And she was like, I'm sorry. And I literally just lie there going, she's like, almost done. And she allows me to curse and it's all great. But then I go home and I'm supposed to do the exercises. And like the amount of guilt I feel. So now I'm burdening my body with guilt because I'm not doing the exercises. But I'm also feeling the guilt of the fact that I don't love my body enough to do the exercises to help it be fixed.
Yeah.
Or I'm not able to find the time.
With us?
Oh my
God. Do other people do these things? Yeah, they do, I guess.
I'm sure. But I'm just like tripling up on my guilt. I start out, I'll do them for like a week.
Oh,
and then it'll be like
get credit for that. That's really good.
One day, and done. And so I'll come in and she'll be like, did you do your exercises? Every time, did you do your exercises? And I'm like, well, I started off strong. And then no.
Try responding with, I don't know, you tell me after this appointment. Did I?
She'll be like, definitely not. I think it's just personality though, too. But I know like some people are really disciplined and diligent. I feel guilty that I don't give that to myself. And like, how do I change that about myself so that I can like show up for myself in those ways?
I think you just identified is we don't do them because it's like we're doing something for ourselves then. And so it's time that
Yeah.
could have been spent researching on the internet how to be a better
Homeopathic
parent.
tablets for your children.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, probably.
Let's give ourselves that, because sometimes for me, it's just, I would rather do something else.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm being honest, I have
Totally.
not done multiple series of physio. And I kind of feel like I'm paying you like a lot of money for this. So you do it.
Just fix me. Could you
Yeah.
just come every day and do this to me? Stretch out my ropes and then
Yeah.
we're good?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard work. It's hard work. And the exercises are always really boring. They don't feel good. I remember getting an exercise when I was very young, and it was really fancy, but it was get a grocery shopping bag and put a can of soup into it and sit in a chair and lift that up by like wrap it around your ankle and then lift that up. And that will help with your stupid knee problem that has caused me massive amounts of grief. And I'm sure I did it once and was like, I don't want to do this. But
then you had surgery instead when you were an adult.
Yeah, I probably would have changed the whole trajectory of my life had I lifted that can of soup.
But you know what? Then I wouldn't have baked you that pumpkin pie and we wouldn't be doing this podcast today.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
So
Maybe
fuck you, soup can.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember it was the tomato soup, right? So the can was little. I think I was supposed to get the bigger size can, but I just didn't.
Like the Habicht split pea.
Right. Oh, I loved that soup when I was in university. Oh my God, I forgot. Do they still sell it?
They do. They do.
Oh, I'm going to go get some. I forgot about that soup. I wonder if it'll still taste as happy as I remember it.
I don't know. To me, that was like my parents wouldn't buy Campbell's because my mom, wouldn't buy Campbell's because it was full of sugar. The one canned soup we had in our house was the Habicht split pea.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm really, really excited to have that. I have made split pea soup.
Yep. And it's probably way tastier than the canned version.
It always has like, it can kind of do the trick, right?
Yeah.
In the moment. University. And yeah, I don't think I turned on my stove once. Yeah.
But you bought split pea soup. So you were doing a good service. Like you were healthy.
I love split pea soup. See, and now instant. I'm like, and that made me think of homemade bread. And that made me think of the fact that I kind of take the summer off of making bread. I just get sick of it.
Yeah.
And my kids are like, when are you going to start making bread again? And I'm like, I am soon. And
do you want to feel guilty?
The end of October, and I haven't made a loaf of bread.
Last night, I made homemade sourdough. One loaf was cheddar and garlic, and the other loaf was apple cinnamon.
Oh, see, how did you wrap yourself around to being able to do that?
That kind of thing I can do. That I love. I love to bake. I love to cook. Like I will waste my days and all kinds of my potential on just doing that because I enjoy it.
That's not wasting. That's creating.
Yeah. It doesn't earn money. It doesn't earn money.
That is true. That is true. It saves money, maybe.
Maybe.
I could make that argument.
I feel that it actually does, though, because I actually did the math on it once and I was like, it's actually way cheaper for me.
Significantly. Yeah.
Like, and it's organic
and it's
sourdough.
Delicious.
Delicious. We take out all the leeches.
Delicious.
Yeah, no, it is delicious. Yeah, so you should feel guilty and bake your kids some fucking bread.
Yeah, I'm going to. I feel like today's the day.
Today's the day.
See, life-changing.
And now that will be one piece of guilt removed because you'll have baked the bread and then you can just feel like you'll get another gold star from me next time we meet and I hear that you baked the bread.
So I don't know if it's next time or not, but we're having a guest and I'm so excited.
I'm very excited for our first guest. I hope she likes us.
She'll love it. She can't not. And I don't feel guilty, but I do have to pee. So.
No, yeah, me too. Perfect. What a great way to end.